News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Doctor, I'm screaming doctor.
And on this Wednesday morning, of course, it is time for us to welcome in our favorite family physician, Dr. Stan Anderson. He is on our WHBC Newsline. Good morning, Dr. Stan.
Hey, Pam, great to talk to you.
First, before we start, I have to say a big thank you to you and your staff for last Wednesday. You guys were so welcoming, and we had such a wonderful time being there.
Oh, it was great to have you. And the staff that you have that support you and that are with you, they're just all good people. So just very impressed. Just a wonderful time was had by all.
Yeah, and that he's referring to Dale Lamb, who's our engineer, and Rich Nemec, and of course producer Billy, and also our boss Larry Gothrop was there as well. So we had, it was wonderful, and it was a great show.
All good people.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you,
totally agree.
All right, so let's talk about these scams that are going on, Dr. Stan. This is kind of a scary thing. Not kind of, it is.
Yeah, so this is brand new. This just came out yesterday. So what this was an online security company, McAfee, that ended up publishing this yesterday. And what they were doing is they were doing to see how many different scams there are on weight loss medicines. And what they found was within a short period of time, they found almost 200,000 phishing attempts and almost 450 scam websites. And what they do is they're looking for people that say anything or that go down the direction of wanting weight loss in almost any social media feed. And so they follow you on Instagram or TikTok, and they're even looking at things like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. And these scams usually only accept payment through Venmo, Zelle, or Cash App. And oftentimes, they will even only ask for payment through Bitcoin. So what happens is they end up usually saying something that sounds kind of innocuous, like a scammer on Craigslist might say, I have a couple of extra injections to sell. And other scammers might list pills, they say, which are substitutes from overseas. So McAfee found in one day 207 postings that had been posted that day on Craigslist in a single 24-hour period. So just kind of interesting. This is so revolutionary as to what they're doing. And they're even scamming in that they're posing as physicians and medical professionals, and they oftentimes have fake testimonials from customers who said, yeah, I received that pill, I received that shot, and I lost an amazing amount of weight. And Ozempic, just going back, Ozempic was approved by the FDA in 2017. A noted side effect was weight loss. So people then that were treated with Ozempic ended up feeling a lot better. So it started to be used off-label, and the demand for Ozempic and then the generic for it called semaglutide increased as more people saw results and were used. And then you ended up having so many celebrities. Elon Musk was taking Ozempic and similar GLP-1 medications. And the description was, this is the ultimate weight loss secret. So the skyrocketing demand was amazing. There's 1 million legitimate prescriptions for these medicines that are filled every week.
Wow.
Every week for one of these medicines, for the legitimate ones.
Yeah.
And it's worth noting that Ozempic, which is the GLP-1 most linked to weight loss, Ozempic is still only approved for weight loss. So it's just one of those strange things where it has taken off in demand, and as a result, people need to be very, very careful about using something that they get from a mail order, from online, even things like Craigslist. you need to be careful from Craigslist because oftentimes it's a scam.
Honestly, Dr. Stan, I don't know if I would even be brave enough to to put something in my body that I got on Craigslist. You know? I guess there are people, though, that do.
Yeah, part of it is when you think about the frustration that people have had with, they go to see their healthcare provider, and the healthcare provider says, you need to lose weight. It'll help your medical condition. Almost all of us have probably been through that experience. What happens is the prescriptions, the medicines, the treatment for weight loss is not normally covered by any insurance. So if you see your healthcare provider for the diagnosis of obesity, and you only have that as the only diagnosis, and your healthcare provider gives you a prescription, the prescription will likely not be covered, and the office visit will not be covered. And the reason, obesity is an excluded diagnosis. What that means is there has to be something else that you have because of the obesity that ends up being the reason why your healthcare provider will treat you, which is one of the real frustrating things of trying to help people to be their best. I have a lot of restrictions on what I'm allowed to do or say. I have to focus it around the other medical problems that a person has because of the diagnosis of obesity. So it's really, really difficult. And as people lose weight, their medical problems that they were coming in with oftentimes end up going away. So if you had a lot of heartburn because of the weight, or you ended up having arthritis because of the weight, and you lose the weight and the heartburn goes away and the arthritis doesn't bother you nearly as much, it's hard to justify saying, yep, come in for your heartburn symptom or come in for your arthritis symptom, when the real thing that we're trying to do is simply help people to lose weight. It's really, really a difficult situation.
And wouldn't you think that that the insurance companies would want you to lose weight? They'd cover that so that, that's like a prevention thing, right?
Yeah. And it's part of this catch-22 where the more weight you lose, the healthier you're going to be, the less medical services you're going to need. The problem is that these medicines, if you pay retail full price, you're going to end up paying over $1,000 a month, which is one of the reasons why there's all these scams. So the old scam artists used to say there's several things you can tell if the spelling is wrong or if the grammar is wrong. But now that the scammers are using artificial intelligence, that advice no longer applies. So those old telltale signs of the fake, you can tell that it's not correct. It is so good that it's hard for a normal person to tell the difference between a scam and something that is real. So probably the biggest things that I would say is the people who are seeking weight loss treatments aren't the only ones who can be the targets of scams. Some scammers oftentimes go after medical providers. So you also have to be careful about some of the medical provider things that are done, because looking at it back in December, they found a warning that was given that if the healthcare providers were getting it from a mail-away pharmacy, that they potentially had unsterile needles and things that were found in the injections that were potentially going to be dangerous for the people that were doing it. So it's just this difficult situation because the demand for Ozempic and the other GLP-1 medications is high. We have to be careful and we have to be monitoring for those online scammers that are really potentially very dangerous. So the most important thing is just realize that if you're getting some of your advice from TikTok, you probably should consider getting a second opinion with your healthcare provider.
Right. Absolutely. That's the best advice for sure. Oh, Dr. Stan, well, we appreciate it so much, and we'll chat with you again next week.
Hey, I look forward to it. Thanks, Pam.
Canton's Morning News with